Hello, and welcome to DotaSynopsis, a new show aimed at not only showing highlights of professional Dota 2 games, but with added information and entertainment. Today, we will be looking at the Manila Major upper bracket semi-final match between MVP Phoenix and OG. In the future, I hope to cover more games, but you gotta start somewhere. MVP Phoenix has brought Korean Dota to the mainstream and showcased their skill by beating Liquid in the first round of the upper bracket. Known for their fast-paced gameplay and good teamwork, on the other side is OG, who are looking to make their way back to the top after winning the Frankfurt Major but falling short at the Shanghai Major. Their star player Miracle recently reached 9k MMR, and their team will be looking towards not just him, but each other to win against MVP Phoenix. As you can see, these two teams have only played against each other twice, with the first series going to MVP and the second to OG. Now is the time to prove who is the best, starting off with the draft. Both teams pick two heroes with heals, Juggernaut and Witch Doctor for MVP, and Io and Dazzle for OG. And straight after the Dazzle gets picked, one of the best counters was picked by MVP, the Axe. OG final picked the Morphling to the surprise of almost everyone. It was only the second time Morph had been picked at the main event. The final pickup for MVP was QO's Ember Spirit, arguably one of the best Ember Spirits players in the world. Early game went as expected, with both offlaners resorting more to the jungle than to the lane. Axe, notoriously fast at jungling, went for the Iron Talon to speed it up even more, and because of this, farmed much quicker than the Beastmaster. Mid lane was a dual lane affair, with Dazzle sitting behind the Dragon Knight, as Fairby's bounty hunters spent a fair amount of time next to the Ember Spirit, but also harassing the Beastmaster in the Radiant jungle. The only early action was when DK got aggressive on Ember Spirit, and both teams rotated multiple heroes, but ended up as a simple 1-for-1 trade. We join the action as the laning phase starts to break down, and Io gets level 6.
Tier 1 tower is finally going to go down in the bottom lane. Miracle picks that one up, speeding up his, what I can only presume is the Linken's required this game. You've got Omni Slash, maybe Paralyzing Cast. Oh, jump on mid, QO gonna die again as Moon Meander manages to make the initiation there alongside No Tail. And the relocate is just easy follow-up. Now they've got 3 different heroes, all cores here ready to beat down that tier 1 tower, and MVP Phoenix not in a position to defend really. It looks like they're still gonna try and collide here, but QO is still another 12 seconds out.
And Miracle hits really hard right now. 119 damage, combine that with Inner Beast and Overcharge.
Sevi trying to get the deny. Meanwhile, MVP Phoenix coming in from the side. They're going to go and start going on crit, but Miracle is going to challenge Dubu here. The right click almost enough to finish him off, but he managed to get a fairy fire. Meanwhile, crit. Oh, a heal actually managed to stop the Culling Blade, and again, that movement speed might be critical as MVP Phoenix are not able to get themselves, extricate themselves out of that team fight. That'll be Axe going down first. The Witch Doctor almost cleaned up. Febi almost going down as well as the Flame Breath. Almost finishes him off there. QO not being there for the fight, obviously, because he was dead, but MVP Phoenix still trying to force that one. Seems like a bit of an error on their part as OG proved to be just a bit too strong. Now with this early farm, it seems like OG may actually be able to get their initiating items on a relatively quick pace. MVP Phoenix, smart though, they're going to be able to spot out Grid. Will be able to get their first track kill of the game rather easily. Turn back towards Miracle, who's already got a replicate out, so he can jump over to that one. The call is going to lead the way though. They are going to get a lot of damage onto Miracle. He's ready to jump out in a second and should be able to escape. Meanwhile, the rest of OG using that time where MVP Phoenix were trying to go on Miracle to push down the tier 2 at top lane.
And Miracle doesn't have any items right now, but he is nigh impossible for MVP to kill. Track move speed simply not going to be enough, just lacking any sort of damage. I think they only got like 500 damage on him.
As OG racking up even their lower cores, like the Beastmaster and Dragon Knight, are about to contest the Juggernaut. They're going to jump here on a replicate, blowing everything they had. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, actually centering up, here comes the relocate. They're going to jump on an MP. They managed to get the Primal Roar. The spin, not enough, is Jesus. That Shadow Wave from Fly manages to help OG burst down the Juggernaut so quickly.
And an invisible No Tail set that kill up, and the siege continues.
MVP Phoenix is particularly...
Beastmaster,
oh, Miracle himself actually jumped over to it, trying to pick up the Matter Root, but this could be perfect. Miracle almost gets bursted down immediately, starts morphing strength though, and now the rest of OG able to surround their carry and push back against MVP Phoenix, getting the initiation, and now they're push uphill. Perez stuck on the cliff, is going to try and make his way back down, blinks in, manages to get the call, but just can't get the damage done as the rest of his team is being pushed back by No Tail. Now Farev is going to get stunned up by Miracle, rather large stun at that. QO Gets the chains, creates the space for Forev to be able to get the blink out, and MVP Phoenix should be able to escape with no further losses, but considering that was a smoke gank that turned awry, losing the bounty hunter, it's not a good sign for MVP Phoenix. This allows OG to perhaps get the surprise jump on MVP Phoenix. There it is, the Blink Dagger reveal onto QO, follow up, Primal Roar to make sure there's no hope of QO being able to get out, and OG, now with their positioning, will push high ground and challenge MVP Phoenix to defend.
And where's their anti-push?
Absolutely
jump in
nothing.
on this.
He's supposed to jump into a Morphling and a Dragonite who are tanky as hell and get burned away by the Necronomicon. He doesn't really have a hope of cutting through those heroes, and he's just going to end up losing a lot of HP and mana in the process.
And now Ember Spirit has to feel very worried.
Oh, they managed to get a call on No Tail, pulling him back into the tier 3 area, but there are no disables whatsoever to keep him in that position, and Miracle's just going to right-click that tier 3 down with his agility morph.
It's going to be very difficult.
Could be a decent pickup, but unfortunately, they don't quite get it. They have the vision from Sebi. Are actually going to be able to slow down these two heroes, maybe long enough for the Axe to be able to jump in, but not fast enough as Sebi does get bursted down. The Axe still not here, and is not going to be able to get there in time to be able to get the Culling Blade. No Tail gets stalled up a little bit more. MP is going to join the fight, actually. They do have to relocate forward. They're just looking to be able to pop this Dragonite. Finally, they will bring him down with that pop, but no, it's now going to be the Witch Doctor who goes down. They turn towards taking Chris 3 more seconds, but not fast enough. The Culling Blade takes him out. Now MVP Phoenix on full retreat, at least attempting to, but Perez gonna get caught, and MP, who spun away, who's now trying to keep that healing ward to somehow run himself all the way back to the tier 2, but it's just not gonna happen. Not even tier 2's up. He's gotta make it all the way to tier 3. QO providing interference. Looks like the chains was just enough. That bottom lane pushing out so far is probably a little bit of a warning signal to MVP Phoenix. They may still get caught here though. As a jump in, Dragon Tail getting away. They managed to get the call counter, but still Miracle's going to be able to pop QO nonetheless. And Forev, again, just not tanky enough to be able to survive the onslaught of 5 different heroes. And now OG, they go straight for the throat, trying to take out the melee racks before the 25-minute marker. And they will take it indeed. MVP Phoenix not able to provide a response just yet. OG can actually just keep on pushing. They don't even need Moon Meander here. Just Miracle and No Tail by themselves are rapidly chipping away at that tier 3 tower. MVP Phoenix, they're trying to set this fight up from behind right now with this smoke. It's going to cost them their tier 3 tower, but they do manage to get the initiation. Luke's going to be the first one. Almost gets bursted down. Culling Blade not going to be there in time, but they've already lost their Witch Doctor. In return, Healing Ward also down, and MP has to retreat all the way back through. Miracle is going to start slowing him down with that Scotty. Now bypass coming out from MVP Phoenix. Witch Doctor is going to be one, and I imagine the Brev's going to be coming up next. Miracle jumps forward and takes the Witch Doctor out a second time. Sleight of Fist just not doing enough. Jump forward. No Tail not able to catch QO, but they've already taken the objective they needed. Brev pops the blade mail as he manages to get the call onto No Tail, but he's tanky. And MP, he doesn't even come close to cutting through the dragon as Brev goes down a secondary time. And now MP going to be chased away by Miracle as there it is. MVP Phoenix. They probably knew it for the last 10 minutes, but this is very clearly GG in game 1.
Rampage denied.
Just an ultra kill for Miracle, but putting in some work with that Morphling, but it was all set up by the space grid and just overall strategy of the laning phase by OG. They never let MVP Phoenix start that running ground.
And they had very difficult cores to kill. The Morphling on the bottom lane, the Dragonite in the mid lane. Beastmaster did suffer a tiny bit, but at the end of the day, they knew that MVP had to try and pressure them under the T1 towers, which was far too difficult with the Dazzle and the IO.
So OG, they very clearly have thought this one out and how they're going to be able to deal with MVP Phoenix. MVP Phoenix now have to take the break between game number 1 and game number 2 and think about what's the solution to OG's very defensive lanes. Is it trying to draft themselves even more aggressive, or perhaps changing up their game plan and maybe pushing this more of a mid to late game?
Both teams opt for completely different heroes in game 2. OG policing their team fight with Phoenix and Faceless Void coupled with an Elder Titan. This does rely on Faceless Void landing good Chronospheres throughout the game. MVP get the Slarla with Vengeful Spirit for lots of minus armor and damage, but OG counter this with a Sven and his Warcry. OG last pick TA, and there is nothing MVP have to burn through the Refraction. Undoubtedly OG have a greedy lineup, but if they can pull it off, they have a lot of teamfight potential. However, MVP could look to teamfight very early on with an early Blink Dagger on the Slarla. First blood arrived before the minute mark, with OG killing off the offlane Tidehunter with 2 stuns and a Sunray. The mid matchup of Invoker versus Templar Assassin is expected to be a TA favored matchup, as she does have better damage and harass with Sideblades. That being said, Invoker performed very well, staying only just behind in CS throughout the early part of the game. The offlane Void for OG wasn't able to get much gold out of the lane or pressure the Slardar. However, he did get levels, and we can join the game just as Void gets level 6.
Back to your point about the Sven not being terribly farmed because of if he doesn't go for HOD, they do have the CA for massive damage output.
Chronosphere, they're going to try and catch out and kill QO with this one. The Sunray, everything else seems like it should be enough. He starts sprinting himself away, and it looks like the wand may be just enough. No, it's not going to be, as Icarus Dive comes through. And Fly is able to pick up the last hit there. Good setup there from OG, making use of the Chronosphere as soon as possible.
Elder Titan with his 1 point of Earth Splitter, they are ready for the team fight.
Now, all they have to do is hold the right side, and they've got control of both their Ancients as well as Roshan. This is why you see OG taking so much control of the Radiant jungle and setting up for a potential kill here on Forever. They need the right kind of Chronosphere to be able to set this up, and they've got it perfectly. No Tail will be able to beat into the Tidehunter underneath the Chronosphere like that, but it's not quite enough. And now Forever, he's caught off the anchor smash, and they might just be able to pop Moon, who's completely out of mana. Forever burning on the side, Moon battling up against MP with the amplified damage on it. A little bit more damage, somebody right-click it, but no! He's making the escape away, and MVP Phoenix, they've already lost 1, about to lose 2 if MP can't get away from Miracle. Bevy hoping to be able to get some mana. The Stormbolt comes out. Miracle's got the time, plus the Sunray to be able to take out MP. OG diving in deep against MVP Phoenix, but will score 2 more kills, perhaps make it a 3rd. Bevy, he thought he was going to be all over, but not over until Miracle picks up the triple. Maybe underneath the tier 2, has to back himself away. The Supernova covers his tracks, though. And OG will be able to escape unscathed as they continue their streak of no deaths.
Nice play by the Vengeful Spirit, just barely outside the Chronosphere, and again, nice combo with the Tornado EMP, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
MVP Phoenix knows there's a lot on cooldown here for OG, and they can try and fight this one, but OG comes storming in through the backline, and now the stomp, it hits on 2, and MVP are going to be left to die here as QO. Oh, and managed to get off the armlet toggle just in time. Crit managed to dodge the tornado, though. Somehow OG's keeping all their heroes alive. QO gets popped, and Bevy underneath the tier 1 tower. Doesn't matter. OG will take it all. See nothing left really to stop MVP Phoenix from looking for this fight. They've been off map for so long. OG still maintaining a very disciplined front here, as Miracle's gonna be one to scout this out. The smoke does pop, he immediately blinks himself away, and OG start responding in kind. The QO still managed to find a jump on a Moon. Is it going to be enough though? They try and blow him up. The Sunray over the top is keeping Moon alive, and now the light instantly dies to Miracle, and he's gonna look for more with the double damage. QO doesn't stand a chance. The rest of MVP Phoenix being cleared out by No Tail, as he makes sure there's no push forward by them for Rev. If he wants to be able to survive through this, may even have to blow the Ravage, but he knows it's not going to be worth it.
Wow, Miracle with a big blazer, just sitting there, melded, popping the smoke, and then backing off. And Moon kind of got caught unawares because they didn't know that they had the Observer and Sentry on the high ground to scout him out, but Miracle just did too much damage in that fight.
Can fight into MVP Phoenix.
It just seems like they know exactly what MVP's move is going to be next.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's their turn to be on the offensive. MVP Phoenix trying to do some Ancients of their own. OG have plenty of initiation though, thanks to Moon. They're going to be able to make the jump, manage to get the Stormbolt. Bevy's going to be first. Now they've got the Chronosphere on it, 2 with the Sunray over the top. Miracle with the double. And MVP Phoenix still struggling to find a single kill in this game as we push past 20 minutes. Yeah, you're talking about 35 minutes plus when I'm not even sure if MVP Phoenix are going to be able to stop this one push uphill from OG. Scott Strength come forward instantly, hexed up. Nice play by Bevy. Tornado EMP, BKB is going to be used by No Tail. Now they turn towards Forev, trying to force out that Ravage. While the BKBs are still up, he doesn't even use it. Instead, he holds on to it as he's going to buy back and try and go round 2. OG can try and back away if they want to, but they're going to stay and fight with No Tail holding the line there. Managed to get a Stormbolt and a 3-man Chronosphere from Moon. Their Ravage is going to be able to go back some of the heroes, but they still have to follow from Crit. Long range counter initiation is managed to hit the ultimate just on time. Mass buybacks down for an MVP Phoenix as they have yet to pick up a single kill. They just don't look to it all. Crit, he might even die, but the Old Scepter goes down. QO can't even get him as OG swarm into him. Crit hiding in the trees. MP wants it bad. He's going to look for it with the EMP. Still not enough, and the GG goes down. A flawless game from OG as they move on in game 2. What a powerful performance.
It's been a long time since I've witnessed a shutout in high-level pro Dota.
Unbelievable. MVP Phoenix were moving into this series looking so good, having beat Liquid 2-0 like that, but now it's OG's turn to get the 2-0s. They walk out onto the stage feeling very good about themselves. They put on one hell of a show. I think every other team's gonna look at that and go, what the hell?
And probably a lot of props goes to OG's coach, Matt. I'm sure had a
Absolutely.
big hand into this.
I mean, the strategy that OG seemed to have developed specifically for MVP Phoenix, very defensive, especially in game 1, seems to leave MVP's aggression completely stalled out.
And that's a lot of zeros on a scoreboard.
You're telling me. Well, MVP Phoenix, a rough loss for them, but maybe they'll be able to come back in the lower bracket. We'll have to see what their chances are, and how far will OG go in the upper bracket? That's something our analysts will have to decide for themselves.